It's all about becoming the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. The Animal, Batista. The Legend Killer, Randy Orton. Randy Orton, you can see that his face all bruised up. Batista with the size advantage over Randy Orton. Randy Orton 240, Batista 300 pounds of muscle. Randy Orton starting to fight back. Orton, who got a few shots in there on Batista, but the power of Batista. But Orton able to counter. Batista catches Orton. Orton so slick. Slithers almost like a snake. Ooh, that was a nasty sounding shot to the face. And Orton goes down via shoulder block. Triple H and Ric Flair enjoying all of that. Batista is their pick. Ric Flair and Triple H gave Randy Orton everything he needed to know. They taught him up to this point. The fact of the matter is, Randy Orton got too high up. And it ultimately cost him everything. Evolution turned their back on Randy Orton when he got too big for his britches, which is kind of ironic considering how cocky Triple H, Ric Flair, and Batista are. Ric Flair, fair enough on Ric Flair's part being a 16-time world champion and Triple H being a multi-time world champion himself. Batista has the muscle, has the future, the potential. Beautiful drop kick from Randy Orton sends Batista to the outside on the floor. Flair, Triple H check on Batista, who will be #1 contender for Triple H's World Heavyweight Championship. Randy Orton hammering down as we are back on Monday Night Raw. Whoever wins this match will go on to challenge Triple H for the world title. These two men have already gone through hell in the last 24 hours, partaking in the brutality that is the Elimination Chamber. As I mentioned earlier, Randy Orton's face is all bruised up, taped up. Batista has that taped elbow, that taped arm under his elbow, his right elbow pad. With the Elimination Chamber past them, now it's time to build closer to securing your spot for the Showcase of Immortals, WrestleMania. We're just a few months away. Triple H and Flair being the biggest hype men for Batista that they absolutely can be. Triple H gets the idea that Batista is just going to lay down and take the pin the moment that bell rings for the world title match. However, Randy Orton is much different. Randy Orton has aspirations of making a lot of money and being at the top, being famous. Randy Orton Got some clubbing shots on Batista, but Batista sends Orton hard, shoulder first, into the steel ring post. The game encouraging the destruction, the demolition of the legend killer. Look at the way that Orton's skull is being pressed against the ring post. And the smile on the game's face says it all. The joyous look of the animal taming Randy Orton, which kind of apropos in its own sense, but Batista maintains this control. It kind of seemed that it was gonna be in this kind of position with Batista having the size advantage by 60 pounds on Randy Orton. But you can't, however, I will say you can't take anything away from Randy Orton. Randy Orton is very resilient. Orton can be very cocky at times, more times than not. That's why it was such a good fit for Evolution. Orton, who's caught in this chin lock. Orton can be so sly. But right now, the shape that Orton is in, it's not a pretty space. If you're Randy Orton trying to scratch and claw with a 300-pound animal on your back. Scratching and clawing and fingertips, and now he gets a grip of the rope. As Batista just hammering away on the back of Randy Orton, expressing his frustrations in a physical manner. While Randy Orton did break the hold, how much damage has already been done? Batista, all that weight of Batista the boot. Triple H moving a bit closer as he stood up to get close to the ring to enjoy it even closer than being in a chair at ringside. Nice power slam from Batista. Could be enough to put Orton away. But Orton gets the shoulder up before the 3. Triple H wants it to be 3. Usually you'd see something like that from the person in the match. Triple H is acting like this is the best case scenario. While he's on good terms with the Batista, he's still going to have to face Batista. Well, as I mentioned earlier, it seems that his attitude is you're going to lay down for me when this world title match gets underway if Batista is victorious in this number 1 contenders match. But it could be Batista connects with a Batista bomb, but Orton countered. Snap DDT sends Batista head first into the mat. Great counter from Orton. The turning point that Orton needed could be here. Can Randy Orton capitalize on this situation? Batista, who got stunned. Nice kick to the thigh that dropped Batista face first into the middle turnbuckle. Orton just hammering, clubbing away, stomping away now. Flair up on the apron. Orton knocks Flair off the apron. But Batista able to take advantage of Orton focusing his attention on Flair for that short second. But there comes that inverted backbreaker from Randy Orton. The referee having to restrain Ric Flair from getting involved. Orton looking to strike with the RKO. It's going to strike. But Batista blocks. And now it's Batista. I think Batista's saying, I don't need the chair. Batista's saying, get out of here. Orton. Look at that. Orton just stole it. Orton's the #1 contender. Batista was arguing with Triple H. Triple H was offering to help Batista by using the steel chair to take out Randy Orton, but Batista didn't want the help, which allowed Orton to take advantage of Batista focusing on Triple H. Batista has just lost his opportunity to challenge the game Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. However, at the top of the stage is your #1 contender, Randy Orton. Triple H, Ric Flair are furious and upset, but nobody can be more irate than the man that's in the ring, the animal, Batista.